Hey guys, Dusty here. I'm just about to plan my next week's training schedule. I thought I would just take you along with me and give you some insight into what goes into my training program and how I set it up. So first of all, every training schedule, training block, training program that I make first goes into my journal, and I plan out what my goals that I want to hit for that specific period of training, and I make a general structure of how I want my training set up. And then from there, I take the rough draft of my training program and put it into Training Peaks. Now, before we get started and I show you what my next week's training is going to look like, I'll mention that the previous 2 weeks have been relatively non-existent as far as training goes. It's just life got busy and I got sick and I couldn't do much training. So this next week is really just building me back into the swing of things. And I should also mention I'm not training for a specific race this year. I'm really focusing on my swimming and my cycling. So you'll notice that my program is a lot more swimming and cycling heavy, and that I'm more or less just maintaining on the run. Alright, with that being said, let's go ahead and put it into Training Peaks. Okay, so I'm going to transfer my plan from my notebook into Training Peaks here. And I always start with my key sessions that I want to get done. I choose what days I want to do them on, and then I build my training around those key sessions. Oh, and I should mention too, I wrote down what my goals are that I want to hit this week. And in the swim, I want to swim at least 15K this week. I know that when I'm hitting 15K week after week, I can start to constantly see improvements. I want to ride at least 7 hours. All of that will be indoor riding. On the run, just 20K, that'll be a couple of runs, and then I would like to get 2 to 3 strength sessions done as well. Typically for me, that's a 20-minute kettlebell session. Okay, so we'll start with my key swim workouts. So Thursday is actually my biggest swim day, and Thursday's swim is a big main set. Probably will be about 4K total of swimming and probably take me 70 to 75 minutes. Friday is also a key swim for me. It's kind of more or less a flush out from the previous day, but I also work on some really high-end stuff. So it'll probably be about 2,500 to 3K and probably about an hour swim. And another key swim for me is Tuesday. That's a strength specific session, and I'm doing a lot of paddle work that day, and that will also be a 3,000 meter swim. Take me an hour or so. Alright, so I have my 3 key sessions plugged into Training Peaks. Now let's get after my key bike sessions. So just like the swim, Tuesday is also a key bike session for me, and this will be 5 by 3 minuters. So this will I'll probably make this a 75-minute workout, and since I haven't been riding very much over the last 2 weeks, the 3 minuters will probably be at FTP or maybe even slightly more if I feel up to it. Thursday, I'm kind of going back and forth on what I want to see on the bike. I may do some sweet spot training, or I may ride hills. So either way, this will probably be a 90-minute workout, and I'll have to see how the sessions go earlier in the week as far as figuring out what it is I feel like doing on Thursday. Friday is my long bike day. This certainly isn't going to be a long ride for many of you, but I'm just getting back into it, and I'm more focused this week about being consistent throughout the whole week as opposed to doing 80% of my riding in one day. So this ride will be indoors on Zwift, and it will be 2 to 2.5 hours. Zone 2 work. Okay, now we can fill in the rest of the swims and the bikes. So Monday in the pool, I'm just getting back into the groove of things. So I have a fun little set that just helps me get back into it and get a feel for the water again. So that'll be probably about an hour and 3,000 meters. I also have to go into work for a couple hours on Monday. So not that I count this as training, but it'll be 2 hours of walking. And then, as long as I'm not too tired from the swim and the walking, which I probably won't be, we will do a 90-minute easy ride on Monday as well. Wednesday is just a maintenance swim. Haven't came up with a set for that one quite yet. I'll fill it in after I upload this video, but that'll be 2.5 to 3K and probably about an hour. And I made that a bike. We need to change that to a swim and change the distance. Wednesday is also an easy day on the bike. I have an optional bike ride. Now, I'm a big fan of optional workouts. Just if you're feeling good, you can do them, and if you're not, don't do them. Put your feet up if you need the rest. So typically on the bike, when I'm riding indoors, it'll be an optional 20k easy on Zwift, and that's zone 1, zone 2 work. Typically that's on Zwift, 40 minutes at the very most. Saturday, this works out really well because I have to drop my wife and daughter off at the library, which is right beside the pool, so I can do a recovery swim. And I have no idea how I'm going to feel on Saturday since this is my first week back in a while. So that swim will probably be anywhere from 1 to 2.5k and upwards of probably 45 minutes. Okay, now for the 2 runs that I'm doing. I will run on Saturday up to 10k. So Saturday run set in place. And then Wednesday I can do another run up to 10k as well. Okay, now we are on to my 2 to 3 strength sessions. As of right now, I'm planning on a strength session on Tuesday, and those are typically 20 to 30 minutes long. Have a strength session on Thursday as well. Now I'm going to make this one optional just because I'm not sure how my body's going to feel that day. So I'm going to try to hit 2 strength sessions for sure, and the third one, which is this one, will be optional. And then lastly, I have a strength set on Saturday, 20 to 30 minutes. And then after that, I am going to do something on Sunday. I'm not taking this one as a complete recovery day unless I really need it, but I'm just calling this a free day. So I'm going to try to do 30 to 60 minutes of something, just fun, and keep it really easy, have a really low heart rate, just to stay moving. So I could go to the pool for 30 minutes in the hot tub, that sounds nice. Or I could ride for 30 minutes. As of right now, let's just put down, so as of right now, let's just put free day, 30 minutes. There, so I'm pretty happy with that. Looks like I'm doing almost 6 hours of swimming, 7 hours of riding, got about probably an hour and a half of running or 20k. Could be slightly more, slightly less. Probably do at least an hour of strength, and then I also have that 2 hours of walking on Monday, which doesn't count. So if you take the walking away, that's almost a 16-hour training week. So nothing too crazy. There's not a lot of intensity in here, but I do have those 6 key sessions, 3 of them in the pool and 3 of them on the bike, and they all happen to land on the same day, which I'm happy with. And then late on Saturday or Sunday, I'll sit down and I'll look at how everything went and how I feel, if I kept up with my foam rolling, and I need to do some yoga sessions because my back and legs are getting unbelievably tight. But I'll sit down and go over everything, and then hopefully everything went well, and I can use this consistency in training that I got this week to have an even bigger week next week. So that's what my next training week looks like. I just thought that I would show you what goes through my mind when I'm planning my own training. Like I said, I'm not training for a specific race, so not that there isn't as much thought that goes into my training program, but I can certainly be a lot more lenient with how I dish out certain sessions, especially since this is my first week back, and I'm also not doing very much running at all, so my recovery from day to day I find is much greater just because I don't have that pounding of running. Even a 40k week would make a big difference as opposed to 20 like I'm doing now. But it makes a really big difference versus, you know, those 50, 60, 70 plus kilometer weeks where I'm sure a lot of you are doing right now. But I don't have any races in the near future, so it all works out good for me. So if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe for more everything running, triathlon, and nutrition related.